What's going on, my dudes and dudettes? It's Sean you with S&S Serpentarium. Just got my little Rosy boa boy out now. He's looking gorgeous as ever. Really nice little snake. He's unknown locality. He won't be going anywhere near my mid-Baja anytime soon. But he has got a little wifey on the go. So they'll be breeding this season, hopefully. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. And today we're going to be talking about Rosy boas versus sand boas. Now, first off, we'll kick it off. We'll talk about the sand boas. Now, sand boas, they're a small species, just like these Rosies. We're talking about Kenyan sand boas here, because those are the most popular type and the main contenders with these. Yeah, so there's the Kenyan sand boas. They're about the same size as these. They've got similar sort of scales, but they're not quite as smooth as these guys. As I said, they get similar size, similar weight. The main difference is really there's a lot more Kenyan sand boas about in the UK, that is, at least. So they're a lot more available. I would say they're a lot less personable, to be honest, than these Rosies. These Rosies are really, really good pets. They got a lot of character to them. They don't seem to be as they don't seem to get as upset when you handle them as the Kenyans do. I think they're a lot more attractive to look at than the Kenyans are. They got a lot of different localities, and they all look really different. There are also some morphs knocking about as well of Rosies. So really, colour wise and temperament wise, I think Rosies, personally, I think they've got them beat. And as I say, they are very similar looking snakes. They've both got same sort of I don't know if you can see that, but they've both got eyes towards the top. These guys don't have the eyes quite that high up as the Kenyans, but they do still have the same sort of look. And you know, to an untrained eye, someone might think this is a morph of a Kenyan sand boa, and it's not. This is a Rosy boa. Rosies as well, they seem to have a much better appetite than the Kenyans. Kenyans do have good appetites, but they seem to fast a lot more than the Rosies. Having said that, this boy is actually fasting right now. I don't know why, but he is, and that's just one of those things. He's not losing any weight, so I'll leave him crack on. Yeah, he's looking really good. So whatever, it's up to him, you know. Each to their own, innit? It's probably because he's reaching that sort of maturity age now. And they've got quite slow metabolism, so he's just choosing to try not to get fat. But he's really muscular and strong, and he's a nice size for a male. Male Kenyans, they reach about this size as well. Okay, maybe a little bit smaller than this boy. Female Rosies seem to get about the same size as female Kenyans. There are obviously outliers on both species, where some will get a bit bigger than others, some will stay a bit smaller than others, but that's to be expected. It's the same with any species. Husbandry wise, they both like it really dry, so there's no difference there. I wouldn't offer no water bowl for either of them typically, unless they're fasting. That's when I offer the water bowl. The reason why I do that with Kenyans and with these, it's just my personal preference. I like to keep the humidity down, and when you feed these guys, if they've got too much water in the system because they've drunk before they've eaten or after they've eaten, they can actually regurgitate their meal, and I believe it's the same for the Kenyans. So just bear that in mind. Most people don't keep water in with Kenyans anyway. I certainly wouldn't. You're going to need a similar sort of substrate for both of them. They both like to burrow. These guys not so much as the Kenyans. They do stay up on top of the substrate a lot, which is a pro, because you're going to see these more the more you'd see a Kenyan. But they do still like to burrow sometimes, so you still, you know, get the bonus of watching that sort of burrowing activity, and you know, some of the behaviors of the Kenyans. But with the pro, you see them more often. These guys also climb. okay? They definitely climb more than what a Kenyan would. They're a lot more comfortable with climbing, we'll say. They're not avid climbers, but they will climb, and that is something you can't say about the Kenyan. And the main difference for me is, as I've said, a Kenyan, you put it in the substrate and you don't see them. With these, you do actually see them. So that's pretty cool. And in my experience as well, as I've mentioned, they're a lot more handleable than Kenyans. They're a lot nicer to handle as well because they've got these smooth scales. They're just as slow and calm as the Kenyans, but they're less bitey. Not all Kenyans are bitey, but you do seem to get a lot of bitey Kenyans. It's not speaking for all of them, obviously, okay? The ones I've had in the past haven't been bitey, but you know, these aren't bitey at all either, except for when they're juveniles. When they're juveniles, they think everything is food. But that's a good thing as well, though, because then they'll eat for you every week, which is awesome. Another difference between these and the Kenyans is the Kenyans, actually this is one of the rounds that the Kenyans are going to win, depending on your opinion, but the Kenyans actually have much bigger litters than what these do. Kenyans have a litter of about 20 for, you know, a nice mature female, maybe sometimes more, whereas Rosy boa litters are between 2 and 6 typically, sometimes more, but sometimes you can actually get, you know, as few as 1, but it depends on how big the female is. But the pro of that then is the babies of these tend to be that much bigger, and it doesn't seem to put as much stress on the female as what it does with the Kenyans. These guys like it a lot cooler than the Kenyans, which is great because that means when you're handling it, you don't need to worry that it's getting too cold too quickly. And another great thing about that as well is obviously you don't need to heat the tank as much, so it's cheaper to keep. Food wise, they need about the same amount of food, so there's no real difference there. The only difference is with the Kenyan you might actually end up wasting more food because it's gone on a fast, and there's nothing you can do about that. They're not notorious for fasting, don't get me wrong, but they will fast more than what the Rosies fast, mark my words. These Rosies as well, they're really cool because you actually, to breed these, you've got to brewmate them, and that's just because of where they live. So that just goes to show how hardy they are with changes in temperatures. They can easily survive temperatures of as low as 65 degrees. So if you had a power outage in your house, you wouldn't have to worry about these as much as you'd have to worry about a Kenyan sand boa. They're very, very hardy animals. In fact, I actually had someone contact me on Facebook the other day. She's an American lady, and what had actually happened was a Rosy boa had actually crawled up a drain. And this was a few months ago. This was probably, you know, when it was like winter in America at least, and it was like 5-6 degrees Celsius out, so it was really, really cold. And this Rosy boa, it was a mid-Baja by the looks of the photo, had actually, you know, managed to survive and crawl through a sewage drain up through the toilet and the plug, and got into this lady's house, and she ended up keeping her as a pet. And so that's, you know, that's just a testament of how hardy they are. Yeah, so those are the main differences between Rosy boas and Kenyan sand boas. There are other differences as well, but they're very similar overall. These are a lot less common, and if I had to pick a pet, I'd obviously pick these, but I am biased. I have kept Kenyans in the past, but they don't even come close to Rosies for me. The Rosies they're amazing. Kenyans are amazing too, though. I certainly wouldn't, I wouldn't turn down the opportunity to get a nice Kenyan if I liked the look of it. If it was like a splash Kenyan or whatever, I certainly wouldn't turn that down. But if I had a choice of, you know, either keeping Kenyans or Rosies, I certainly pick Rosies every day of the week. They're just so cool. Sorry, I'm just looking at this little guy's face. He's so cute. Yeah. Really personable snakes. They've got a lot more character, in my opinion, than the Kenyans. So as always, guys, that's all I can cover really for this topic. They're very similar snakes, as I've said, but these are the winner for me. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know which of these snakes is your favourite down in the comments below. If you've got any questions related to Kenyans or Rosies, please ask me down below. I'm out of touch with Kenyan sand boas because I haven't kept them in a long time, but I can still probably help you out or point you to someone that might be more helpful to you, or point you to, you know, a good case sheet or a good book or something like that. So feel free to ask questions. As always, guys, if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, and if you made it this far, you obviously did enjoy it, and destroy that notifications bell. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.